Well, the pin-up boy for experience talent is at the Geelong Football Club. He's their oldest player in game 359, and Geordie, on Friday night, he was their best player as well.
Yeah, I like what Sam Mitchell said after the game. He was ready for Dangerfield to retire. I think a lot of Hawthorn supporters would have shared that same sentiment. But, I mean, he has been sensational in 359 games, I think it was, on the weekend. To still be doing what he's doing has meant that the Geelong Football Club, for a long period of time, have created an environment where their players can not only perform at a high level, but perform at a high level for a long period of time, but perform at a high level, long period of time, at the right time of the year.
Can you believe
that is
this?
a challenge.
Can you believe at his age and how many games he's played and the way he plays the game, that this is the output that we're getting?
When you speak about versatility, I mean, he's never gone to half-back, which a lot of players go to sort of stat pad the last, little bit in their career, but he has done it with aggression his whole career. So now he's a really dangerous centre-forward player, which they're hard to come by, but it's one of the great finals games ever. Not only by a Cat, but by any player that's played the game.
As we've discussed during the year, he's been so well managed throughout the season. Like play him deep forward. We had a Zoom with Geelong pre-season, and it was about we'd love to play danger forward as much as possible, rely on our midfield or a clearance work with other players, and then it's break glass in case of emergency. And they didn't balk on that. There was opportunities that they could have put danger in earlier in the year, but they just sat, and now he's getting more midfield time. He's playing the Dusty Martin role. Go to centre bounce or clearance and then just float forward. No defending required, no high transition work rate required. Just ballistic at the contest and then get the ball forward.
But 35. I mean, what he did on Friday is just astounding. If he can do it again 2 weeks in a row, that'll be even more astounding. I mean, I'd be surprised if he can really turn it on, 7 days in a row at 35
So you don't think he's capable of putting that performance in again, or the Lions won't let him?
No, I'd be doubtful because he was so good last Friday night. Let's face it, he was outstanding. But he's 35 and he puts so much of himself into that game. I'll be, as I say, I'd be astounded if he can come up with that energy 2 weeks in a row. If he does, Geelong will win.
If he could do 2/3 of that, it's
still pretty
enough,
good.
wouldn't it?
Still pretty good.
I think it tops his grand final performance in 22, where I voted him as the Norm Smith medalist, but
Cop some flack for that.
I copped some flack, but I think it actually stands up right now. If you look at the replay, but I think that was one of the best that I've seen him play. But he was unbelievable the other night. The stoppage efficiency was amazing. So Dangerfield and all the other midfielders, you've got to take your hat off to them, because let's just if you look at the percentage, so the team with the first hands on the ball. Can you translate that into a clearance? So 82% of the time, this is all clearances, including centre bounce, 82% of the times Geelong converted that into a clearance, whereas only 54% of the times where a Hawthorn player got the ball first hands in the stoppage, only half the time they converted that into a clearance. And it was only 36% at the centre bounces. So amazing efficiency by the Cats midfield.
And I think that's what the clearances isn't just getting your hands on the ball and being the one to clear it. I think Dangerfield, Atkins as well, they go in there, and if it looks like Hawthorn have got first hands, and then you can tackle or dispossess or force the ball into the next contest, that's where Geelong were getting their extra clearances that Hawthorn had first hands to. So that Dangerfield brings that aggression at the body as much as he does at the ball.
Yeah.
It's one of their great strengths. When you talk about the Geelong football side, their defence gets lauded, but also their half forwards and the chaos they create in and around stoppage. So you look at their scores, 11 goals 6 to 7 goals 2 from stoppages, but only 2 goals were kicked from genuine mids. So it's their half forwards that come up and cause some chaos. So you see they're all the half forwards, the small half forwards that are a really tight group. So Graham Myers 14, 9 and so on. So
amazing number though, isn't it? There's nearly 40 score involvements there between those 4 boys.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily blaze away because they know they come up with a mate and they're really sort of tightly bonded in this. I mean, this is the Manigault. So he was set up on Dylan Moore. So Dylan Moore's a forward. He's come up as a forward on a forward. So whoever wins that stoppage gets to go. This is Dangerfield, and this is how confusing it can be. So Dangerfield a midfielder, Myers a half forward. Really good pressure from Paddy Dangerfield, which causes a secondary stoppage. Now, right now, if you are a halfback, if you are Carl Amon, Jarman Impey, you have got not only Dangerfield coming forward, you've got Manor going in, you've already lost Myers. He's somewhere in that congestion. He's actually free. So once again, a secondary stoppage. So you've got time. Look at the halfbacks. Look at Impey. He's working out who's on Dangerfield. Amon doesn't know whether he should hang back on Dangerfield or go up on Myers. Now, by the time the ball goes up, you haven't got time to reset. Bang, comes out to Dangerfield. You are already in your forward pocket because of the confusion on Hawthorn's point of view, but it is all calculated from a Geelong point of view. That's why they're saying dangerous.
How do you coach against that, Bucks? Because that there is Chris Scott, I think, in a nutshell, the way he just plays games around the ball, especially early in the game.
Well, I think that the plan was to have Sicily drop off Manor, which happened for a lot of it, but Manor still had low touches but kicked a couple of goals. But the other one that comes up is that when the second forward comes up, it's either Smith who comes out of the midfield and sweeps or Holmes that sweeps. So they've got all bases covered.
They've got great stability.
And their clearance performance in the last two games has gone through the roof compared to their home and away. So they've been able to unlock something that's been hard to school, that's been hard to scout, and that's it's proved to be the difference in the game.
Is that the Blitzard's influence too?
Potentially.
Because
yeah.
as a ruckman, he's not... The knockouts are terrible. They hit it, but they don't matter. The ground level stuff, that's all that matters. And Blitzard is like an extra midfielder.
Very
Taking
dynamic.
him out of that position, that'll be a real quandary for Geelong.
I think when you look at that setup, one is defensive stability is a big tick, but in terms of offensive aggression, a big tick. So they've got it on both ends.
Well, I think we were looking at the score involvements of those high forwards. If they're not as damaging, then you just drop off them. But because they are so damaging at the source and they don't waste possessions when they get it and then they still connect inside 50, then you've got a decision to make. Because if they're doing the job at clearance, well, then we can't really leave them. So then you're going sometimes into a 3v3 forward line.
It helps with their pressure game too if they don't win the first ball.
You speak about big ticks from the weekend. The big cross for Geelong was Tom Stewart, who's entered concussion protocol in an instant with Mabior Chol. Chol's been given 3 weeks. The Hawks will appeal that. We're led to believe. Here's the tackle here. Lee, does this reignite the debate for you for where the finals bye should be?
Well, yes, it does. I mean, I always think if you're going to have a bye, if you're going to have a bye, have it before the grand final.
Have a look where his leg is there.
Well, this is when the Chol thing. I mean, there's two things in this. Obviously, for a long time now, you know, the concussion protocols say about 4 years maybe. If you're concussed, can't play for 12 days. The AFL impose it, not the clubs. The AFL impose it. So you've known this sits there, which is another reason if you're going to have a week off, have it between the preliminary final and grand final. But the other thing about Chol, that kind of tackle, that's like the Paul Curtis one about 4 months ago. The system is bad.
It's broken.
We've known it's bad, and it hasn't been rectified. It's been left to be bad. And Chol, I mean, Hawthorn got beaten, but it's a fair chance that he wouldn't have been available. Like most of us, he would sit there. That's closer to no weeks than 3 weeks, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it's anything. I mean, the Curtis one was bad. I think this one's even worse. When Chol, where we saw it then, when Chol puts his left leg in, he's virtually tripped up.
Worse is in the grading of it. Yeah.
Well, I think
Stewart's
it's
been tripped, isn't he?
Even less likely. Well, yeah, Stewart's been tripped.
Well,
Butler's taken Chol out, and where Chol's got no centre of gravity there at all. All he's done is gone and tackled and then been tripped, and then he's landed on top of Stewart. But he's been held accountable for that. So I think they've got a real case to clear him of that, let alone to bring it down.
Yeah. It's really incredibly unfair on the players, I think. I think now we're in the legal protection mode and the players are paying the price for that because in years to come, obviously, when there's litigation, eventually there will be, they can show these examples, see, we're suspending players. So, they've got to work their way through this and still appreciate how difficult this game is to play and how fast it is.